grind is out to see the song. We'll be making these tunes until the weed is gone. We sonic boom, keep the metaphor going. From the farm to the lab, but you already knowin'. Another season from the seed to the bong. It's a never-ending cycle, so we never stop growing. Check the style, y'all, I've never been a clone. Cali dad, I got a style on my own. I live in the forest, no shortage on trees. Got a jar in every drawer full of foliage. OG, coolin' with my homies on a Saturday. Up in the studio, no matter what the forecast. Gotta let the angels out, don't listen to iconoclast. Put on the boombox, turn up the speakers blast. Flip the backyard.
All right, let's get right into it. Pride Nation, where do we begin? Where do we start? No real urgency to win the Super Bowl in Detroit for Brad Holmes and his Detroit Lions team. Brad Holmes is about to enter in year number 6, I believe. And when you're looking at the free agent frenzy, you don't see an urgency to build this defense up. Brad Holmes has lost a lot of players on the defensive side of the ball. If you want to talk about Alex Anzalone, if you want to talk about Meek Robinson, if you want to talk about Roy Lopez, they lost a lot of players on this depleted defense. It seems like Brad Holmes doesn't really care about the defensive side of the ball. They only care about the offense. What about Aiden Hutchinson, man? What about getting the help for Aiden Hutchinson? Hutch has been needing help for a very, 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 very long time. And they continue to neglect this defense, man. Getting Jared Goff every weapon that he needs. And I understand, yes, you want to make sure that your quarterback stands upright. I understand that. And I don't have a problem with that at all because, yes, you do want your quarterback to be healthy. You want him to be safe back there. You want him to be able to to gunsling that ball all day long. I understand all those things. But what about the defense? Defense wins championships. Because if you can't stop anybody, see, the biggest problem that the Lions have is that the offense can put up all type of numbers, be one of the best offenses in the NFL, but at the same time, putting up all these points and can't stop anybody. We saw the season where we went 15-2, where the offense pretty much was dominant the whole season. The offense really carried the team when we went 15-2. But what did that get us? That got us a first-round exit by a rookie quarterback and by the Washington Commanders. So what are we doing now as we're sitting here waiting around for Brad Holmes to make decisions to give these guys one-year deals and 2-year deals? We know most deals that Brad Holmes is going to give out to people, it's not going to be over 3 years. Let's just face it, it's going to either be a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal. You know, what is he going to do? You know, we don't know. He probably is going to bring Al-Qadim Muhammad back. We don't know. He don't really want to spend the money with him because Al-Qadim Muhammad pretty much outpriced himself on the Detroit Lions. You know, really what Brad Holmes is trying to do, he's trying to build this team up with cheap talent. And you may be able to get the talent on the team, and you may be able to get some guys that come in here for $4 million, $3 million, whatever. I understand. It's the game of football. People want to get paid. They got families to feed. I understand that. But at the same time, man, you got to get some impact players on this defense. If you don't have any impact players and it's just Aiden Hutchinson and Aleem McNeil doing everything, 2 guys that came off severe injuries doing it all, then what are we doing? You got 2 safeties that you don't really know what's going to happen with them. We know eventually they will return, but you don't really know what's going to happen. We know that Brian Branch is going to be out for a while. And then we know the up and down of Kirby Joseph's knee. I did see the video of Kirby Joseph throwing the T-shirts at the Michigan game or whatever. But at the same time, you know, the biggest thing is, what are you going to do on the defensive side of the ball? Because you lost a lot of your defensive players to other teams. Terrion Arnold, he still got the situation ongoing that we don't really know what's going on with that situation. Is he going to be charged? Is he not going to be charged? what's going to go on with that situation. So we still waiting on that outcome. You got Enos Rexstraw, who's never touched the football field yet for the Detroit Lions. No experience for Enos Rexstraw, who we pretty much thought was going to be the other corner with Terrion Arnold. Two young corners that we were going to have together that was going to go out there and earn their stripes. What are the Lions going to do at the linebacker position? Who's going to be that linebacker that's going to be next to Jack Campbell? So it's a lot of questions on the defensive side of the ball. You're not too much worried. You understand that the Lions pretty much, if we keep our picks, the Lions are they're going to draft a tackle with that first pick. And I understand that. We want to make sure you get the replacement for Taylor Decker, who is no longer on the football team. And we just got to see, man, what's going to happen. You know, we're sitting here waiting as Lion fans, waiting on Brad Holmes to make a move, and he hasn't made a move yet. And we're trying to figure out, because we are a little puzzled, man. We are puzzled as fans, like saying, what is going on with the defense? Why can't we get any of these players? Most of the players are going to teams now. And because we know that Brad Holmes is trying to get that other edge at a cheap rate or a cheap number, that's the reason why you don't have any edges on the team. So it's a lot, man. It's a lot. It's concerning if you're a fan, because there is no real urgency to win the Super Bowl in Detroit. There is no real urgency to win the Super Bowl. Only thing that the Lions are doing is trying to be able to fill up the stadium every Sunday and be relevant. We want to win a Super Bowl, man. We've been relaxed. We've been patient for years. The Lions have been rebuilding since 1957, man, and we've been so relaxed as fans. We've been so patient, wanting the winner here in Detroit. And shout out to Brad Holmes, because he did change the culture of the Detroit Lions. But the goal is not just changing his team. The goal is ultimately to be able to carry the prize home. And that's being able to get to the Super Bowl, man. Whether you win or lose, whatever. We want to be able to say, hey, man, we finally were able to do it. So I don't know what Brad Holmes is going to have up for this day and who he's going to sign. But at the same time, man, we got to do something. You know, you restructure the deal of Jared Goff. What are we going to do with the cash? Now, I know that you got to sign your draft prospects with some of that money. And to me, they needed to restructure another person on this team's deal. Maybe Amon-Ra St. Brown, maybe Penei Sewell, maybe Aleem McNeil. Somebody else's deal need to be restructured so that we can have more money, so that we can get the talent on the defensive side of the ball. If Brad only knows that the time is ticking, and I don't know, man, like what he's going to do, because ultimately we're playing a waiting game. Who are you going to get on this defensive side of the ball with you losing everybody on defense, just about? What are you going to do? And is it a real urgency in Detroit to win a Super Bowl? Because you saw last year a team that wasn't even projected to win a Super Bowl won the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying that the Lions can't do it with a weak defense. They can. Anybody can get to the Super Bowl if you get hot at the right time and you win your games. But can the Lions actually do it with a weak defense? I don't know. But all signs point to you better know that you need a defense, especially heading into the playoffs. Because if you don't get a defense, you're going to be bounced out in the first round again. So Brad Holmes must get busy. He better get busy, because the defensive side of the ball is nothing over there. All these years, we still haven't gotten Aiden Hutchinson, a real running mate over there. Shout out to Al-Qadim Muhammad for, for getting 11 sacks with Hutch last season. Maybe they're talking to Al-Qadim Muhammad and trying to bring him back and trying to see what his number is going to be. I don't know. We don't know what's going on. We don't know who the Lions are talking to. But he better get this defense together. Because if not, the Lions, I don't care how weak and favorable the schedule is this year, the Lions are not going anywhere. This team ain't going nowhere until this defense is getting fixed. And Brad Holmes is the guy that has to fix the personnel on the defensive side of the ball in Detroit. It's just crazy, man, that there's no real urgency to win a Super Bowl. But we just want to be relevant. We're tired of just being relevant, man. We want to win a Super Bowl. We want to win. We want to win in Detroit. We're tired, Brad. We want to go to the big dance. We got one of the best offenses in the National Football League. But what are you going to do for an encore on the defensive side of the ball? Get busy, Brad Holmes, and getting this defense together. Because you're not going nowhere unless you fix this defense. Fix the defense so this Detroit Lion team can be competitive in 2026 and beyond. Fix the defense, Brad Holmes. Fix the defense, Brad Holmes.